Hello there guys, I'm Darryl Griffiths. Yes, this pale-faced Midlander is back on your screens, you poor people. I hope you've all been very well. I appreciate it has been a long time since I put anything out film related, whether written or through this format in recent times. Now today, to mark my return of sorts, I'll be reviewing the first female-centric superhero film since 2005, astonishingly enough, which was Elektra from the world of Daredevil. And it is, of course, the latest offering from DC and Warner Brothers and their extended universe. It is Wonder Woman. Now, it has been mixed fortunes for DC and Warner Brothers in recent times, with Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice polarising and Suicide Squad getting butchered by the critics. So, the pressure is very much on. Now, the character of Wonder Woman has been on our screens in some form for many years now. It made a household name out of Linda Carter, and the mantle is passed on to Gal Gadot, who we've already seen in Dawn of Justice in very much a cameo role. And this is essentially the origin story of this character. Now, it is directed by Patty Jenkins, who provided The Fantastic Monster, starring Charlize Theron many moons ago. And there's been a lot of scrutiny about a female filmmaker having such a budget at her disposal and being a part of such a big budget tentpole. Now, if you look at so many male directors that have made the significant step up from obscure independent films in recent times, barely an eyelid has been blinked, and it does smack again of Hollywood sexism. So this was the DC film for me that I was most excited for when it was first announced. So I've been really rooting for this. So, moment of truth from the woman with the lasso of truth. Is Wonder Woman any good? First, the plot. We are transported to the world of Themyscira that is populated by battle-born, strong-willed glamazons, if you like. Diana, of course, Wonder Woman. From a young age, we see her and the bond that she has with her mother, played by Connie Nielsen, who you may recognise from Gladiator, the Ridley Scott film from many years ago. And Robin Wright, General Antiope, is the woman who trains Diana from a very young age. And Connie Nielsen's mother is very reluctant and apprehensive to leave Diana exposed to such a world. But again, she is very much aware of the responsibility that will be ultimately bestowed upon her. And Diana is oblivious to that. But it all comes to the fore when Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, an allied spy from World War I, crashes onto the coast of Themyscira. And we are ultimately led into this world of horrors on a globalised scale of World War I, and we get an insight into Ludendorff, played by Danny Huston, and Elena Anaya's Dr. Poison, the two villains of the piece, and the toxic weaponry and nuclear weaponry that they are using to cause mass destruction. And Diana is very inquisitive and empathetic about the situation, but she doesn't quite understand where the threat is truly coming from. So she and Trevor go to jolly old London to unravel this plot. Now, Wonder Woman, I am relieved to say, is fan-bloody-tastic. Gal Gadot, first off, owns this role. She is empowering, she's empathetic, she's quite simply exquisite in this role. She completely exceeded my expectations. She has a real warmth that radiates from her, but again, she's really fierce in battle, and it really translates. And I think it manifests very well into the dynamic that she has with Chris Pine, who has become such a reliable on-screen presence in recent times. The renaissance of the Star Trek films through him and his Captain Kirk, I think, is testament to how much he's developed as an actor. And we saw him in Hell or High Water last year, which again is a fantastic piece of filmmaking. And the dynamic that they have is very free of cynicism. Sure, they don't quite understand everything that is going on in their respective worlds, but they really do try and understand each other without being sarcastic or cynical. And it is wonderful to watch the relationship that they have and the points that they make that feel very potent and relevant to today's world. I think the action is very well crafted and well staged. Jenkins really provides some really tender moments and beautiful moments within the bombast, which hasn't always been the case with the DC films, to be honest. And I think it is perfectly showcased in the no man's land stretch of the film, which the initial moment of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman going up the ladder and trying to deflect all this gunfire with the shield, it is genuinely spine-tingling for me. It's a real moment, and in a way, it's sort of is deemed the key moment where you think, yes, DC has finally got its act together, and that whole stretch of the film is stunning. There are issues with the third act in the bombast. I think it sort of goes against everything that we've seen before within it, but at the same time, it does offer a payoff that is wholly satisfying and emotionally satisfying as well, and we haven't always had that. But again, I think it's a little bit overlong as well, which has been a common theme of comic book films in recent times. So this is it's not just Wonder Woman that I've had a problem with this. I think they're trying to deliver so much bang for your buck that they don't quite streamline everything, and I think it gets a little bit too overlong and a bit prolonged, if you like, in how it's dealt with. But Jenkins has done a stellar job with Wonder Woman. I think it overcomes the early stages of very heavy exposition in trying to get this origin story across without it being too generic, and I think visually it's captured very well within the world of Themyscira particularly, and these visual flashbacks of talking about Greek gods, and it sort of has a real gothic feel to them, which is fantastic. But again, the only real flaws that I would have is I was very conflicted about the third act, and the first act is very exposition heavy, but this is a huge step forward for DC and Warner Brothers in terms of getting this extended universe back on track, if you like, especially with Justice League lurking, and the pressure that's ultimately going to be mounted upon that when you've got the introduction of Aquaman and the Flash, played by Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller, and of course Cyborg as well. And of course that's been thrown into tragic circumstances recently with Zack Snyder. Sending much love to him currently after the very sad news in regards to his daughter with Joss Whedon, of course well known for the Avengers films taking over. But in regards to Wonder Woman, it is completely knocked it out the park. Patty Jenkins, I salute you. All the criticism and all the doubt that was lingering will be banished with this, in my opinion. It is a really terrific female-centric superhero film, one that we've all been waiting for. It is empowering, it is hopeful, it is optimistic, it is free of cynicism, which is so damn refreshing in a very cynical world, and it is very much well worth watching. So that is my review of Wonder Woman. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel below, which would be much appreciated. On a final note, I do want to address what's been going on with myself in recent times. I would like to dedicate this video to my mum, who passed away a couple of months ago, and she was very much my Wonder Woman, and I think it's very fitting that I dedicate this to her. I miss our cinema trips together big time. She was very much the driving force for me doing this, and it took a lot for me to get back to it, and why I've been, so out of action for so long. But I dedicate this to her. Her bravery, her fierceness, her open-mindedness ultimately drove me into this art form and trying to be immersed in it in the way that I do, and I salute her, and this is for her, and I hope you've enjoyed the video review of Wonder Woman. Until next time everybody, take care, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much.